The morning light filters through the curtains. You stretch slowly, feeling that familiar stiffness along your back. Your knees feel heavy, your toes distant, your breath a little shallow. You pause, listening to the quiet hum of a new day. For a moment, you wonder if this is just how aging feels. But somewhere deep inside, your body whispers differently. It remembers long walks, gentle bends, and freedom in every motion. It remembers balance, ease, and the rhythm of breath and movement. Maybe that memory isn't lost, just waiting to be awakened. You take a deep breath, feeling air fill every corner of your chest. There's a calm promise in that breath, a quiet invitation to move again. Not with force, not with speed, but with care. This story isn't about pain, it's about rediscovery. The rediscovery of flexibility, strength, and grace that never truly left. And it begins with something simple, something soft. A bend from your knees to your toes. A gesture of kindness to your own body. A reminder that healing doesn't shout, it whispers. And today, you're ready to listen. One gentle bend at a time. Movement is a story our bodies never forget. Even when time slows us down, the memory of motion stays alive within us. When we were young, we ran without thinking. We climbed, we danced. We reached for the sky without fear of falling. Every step was effortless, every bend natural and free. But as the years pass, something changes quietly. The world tells us to slow down, to sit more, to rest often. And slowly, the language of movement begins to fade. Our bodies still speak it, but the words come out softer, hesitant. The knees start to whisper when we stand. The back sighs when we bend to tie a shoe. And sometimes, we mistake those sounds for weakness. But they are not weakness, they are reminders. Reminders that movement is not gone, only waiting to be remembered. The body is not an old machine breaking down. It's a living story, asking to be read again with gentler hands. Each joint, each muscle, holds a memory of flow and grace. The knee-to-toe bend is like turning a forgotten page. A small gesture that tells your body, I'm listening again. You don't need strength to begin, only willingness. A willingness to move with kindness, to meet your limits without fear. When you bend, your body starts to speak more clearly. It says, here is where I'm tight. It says, here is where I'm strong. And if you keep listening, it begins to trust you again. Because movement, at its heart, is about trust. Trust between the body and the mind. Trust that you will not force but guide. That you will move not to punish, but to reconnect. When you move with care, your body responds in gratitude. The stiffness softens, the tension melts quietly away. You start to notice small victories, reaching a little further each time. Breathing deeper, standing taller, smiling at the feeling of lightness. These moments are not just physical, they're emotional. They remind you that growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. It means learning a new rhythm of strength. A rhythm that values patience over speed, balance over intensity. You realize that motion isn't about doing more. It's about doing with intention. When you bend toward your toes, even if you don't reach them, you're growing. Not just in flexibility, but in awareness. Awareness of your breath, your posture, your presence. You start to feel your spine align, your legs awaken, your core engage. Every gentle bend becomes a message. I am alive in this moment. The body listens, the heart listens. The quiet space between movement and stillness becomes sacred. This is where healing begins. Not in pushing harder, but in slowing down. Not in chasing youth, but in embracing vitality. The language of movement was never lost. It was simply waiting. Waiting for you to pause, to breathe, to remember. And when you do, you find that your body has been whispering all along. Whispering, thank you for coming back. The body is a system of quiet connections. Every movement we make travels like a message through invisible lines. From the toes to the knees, from the spine to the shoulders, everything speaks. When one part falls silent, the others must speak louder to carry the weight. That's how discomfort begins, not from one place but from disconnection. The knees and the back share a secret language that few people notice. When the knees grow stiff, the back bends harder to help. When the back tightens, the legs lose their freedom to move with ease. It's a chain of effort, a balance that works until it doesn't. And most of the time, we only notice when the pain arrives. But pain is not the enemy, it's a messenger. It tells us, something in this chain needs your attention. That's where the magic of the knee-to-toe bend begins. It's not just a stretch, it's a conversation. A way to remind the body that all its parts belong together. When you start from your knees and reach toward your toes, you begin to reconnect. You awaken the muscles that have been waiting, quiet and forgotten. The calves whisper, the hamstrings sigh, the lower back smiles softly. Each gentle motion sends a signal upward through your spine. It says, we are working together again. The movement might look small, but inside the body it's huge. Blood begins to flow more freely. Joints begin to loosen. The brain receives messages of safety and calm. And with every bend, tension starts to dissolve. It's like tuning a long-forgotten instrument, one note at a time. Slowly, the music of your body comes back into harmony. Every bend forward is an act of listening. Every rise back up is an act of balance. Your knees find strength in movement, not stillness. Your back finds relief in rhythm, not resistance. It's a dialogue between grounding and release, between stability and flow. And the more you practice, the more fluent this language becomes. You'll start to notice how your posture shifts without effort, how your breath deepens naturally, how your steps become lighter, steadier, more confident. Because the truth is simple, the body never forgets unity. It just waits for the mind to remember it too. The chain of connection is always there, even when it feels broken. And through each gentle bend, you repair it piece by piece. You teach your body to trust movement again. You teach it that bending is not breaking, that flexibility is not weakness, but wisdom. And when your knees and spine move together, pain loses its hold. It fades like a shadow in the morning light. What remains is balance, quiet, steady, and alive. This is how harmony feels, not loud or dramatic, but soft, flowing, and full of life. A conversation between your body and your breath. A reunion between your strength and your gentleness. And it all begins when you bend, from your knees to your toes with care. Imagine yourself standing in a quiet room. The air feels calm, and a soft light rests across the floor. Your feet are steady, planted shoulder-width apart. You take a deep breath, letting your chest rise and your shoulders relax. This is where the journey begins with stillness. You are not here to rush, not here to prove anything. You are here to reconnect. Slowly you exhale, letting your body grow heavy yet peaceful. Now let your knees soften, not bend too much, just enough to ease tension. Feel the ground beneath your feet, firm and supportive. It's your anchor, holding you steady through every movement. With another breath, let your upper body lean forward gently. Your spine follows in a smooth, slow curve. Your hands begin their descent, sliding past your thighs, your knees. There's no need to reach far. Go only as far as your body allows, comfort over distance. Maybe your hands reach your shins, maybe your ankles, maybe your toes. It doesn't matter where they land. What matters is that you move with kindness. Inhale again, feeling space open along your back. Exhale slowly, letting your body melt a little deeper, like soft rain on soil. You might feel the stretch hum through your legs, your back, your hips. That gentle hum, is life returning to those quiet corners of your body. Stay there for a moment, breathing, listening. There's peace in this stillness, a quiet conversation between breath and motion. And when you're ready, rise up slowly. Don't rush. Let every vertebra lift one by one. Feel your spine lengthen, rebuilding itself with each breath. Your head comes up last, light and balanced. You're back to standing tall, calm, refreshed, whole. Now pause again. Notice the warmth in your legs, the ease in your back. Notice how your heartbeat feels softer, steadier. You've just completed one cycle of movement and restoration. It's not a workout, it's a dialogue. You're teaching your body that bending is safe, rising is natural. That effort can be gentle and still deeply healing. Repeat this rhythm as you wish, bend and rise, breathe and rest. Each repetition feels different, a little freer than the one before. Your body starts to understand that motion is love made visible. Your breath becomes the guide, leading every move with patience. This simple act of bending forward becomes a meditation. It reminds you that strength lives in softness. That control comes from awareness, not force. Even if you only move a few inches today, it's enough. Because the goal isn't to reach your toes, it's to reach yourself. To touch that quiet, knowing part inside that says, I can. And as you rise for the final time, standing tall once more, you'll feel it, a small spark of pride glowing beneath your ribs. Not for how far you went, but for how deeply you listened. Because every gentle bend teaches your body to trust again. And every rise reminds your heart that you are still beautifully capable. Science often speaks the same truth that the body already knows. It tells us that small, gentle movements can create powerful change. Doctors call it mobility. Therapists call it functional strength. But in truth, it's just the art of moving with awareness. When you perform a knee-to-toe bend, you awaken an entire network inside you. Your muscles, joints, and nerves begin a quiet conversation. The bending motion stretches the hamstrings, those long cords behind your legs. When they loosen, your lower back finally takes a breath of relief. The spine, freed from tension, begins to realign naturally. Each slow bend improves blood flow to the muscles that support your posture. Circulation becomes your body's way of saying thank you. Oxygen flows where stiffness once lived, and pain begins to fade like morning mist. The movement also engages your core, that deep center of balance. It strengthens without strain, teaching your body how to support itself again. Even your brain takes part in this healing. Gentle bending activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's calm mode. Your heartbeat slows. Your breathing deepens. Your mind quiets, releasing the tension it once held onto. Science calls this a feedback loop, movement calming the mind easing the body. And through that loop, the cycle of stiffness and pain slowly breaks. It's not about effort, it's about intention. Researchers have found that mindful exercise reduces inflammation and improves balance. Just a few minutes of movement each day can ease chronic discomfort in older adults. The reason is simple: consistency creates change. When you bend, you're training your muscles to remember flexibility. You're teaching your joints that movement is safe, not threatening. And little by little, your range of motion grows. Your body begins to trust movement again, the way it once did in youth. The science may sound complex, but the truth is beautifully simple. You don't need machines or weights to restore your strength. You just need presence, the awareness of how your body feels, moment to moment. Every gentle bend is like watering a plant that's been dry too long. You don't flood it, you nurture it slowly, patiently. And over time, life returns to every leaf, every branch, every cell. That's how the body heals, not through force but through care. And science, in all its wisdom, agrees. Movement is medicine, but not all medicine comes in pills. Some come in breaths, in stretches, in quiet repetitions done with love. Each knee-to-toe bend is a dose of that medicine, a reminder that healing doesn't have to hurt, that strength can be soft, that flexibility can be peaceful. So the next time you bend, think of it as both art and science, a moment where biology meets mindfulness, where numbers meet soul, and where the body, through something so small, learns again what it means to feel whole. Ellen used to wake each morning with a sigh she didn't mean to make. Her back felt tight, her knees stiff like old hinges in need of oil. The floor seemed farther away every day, her steps slower, her breath shorter. She once loved morning walks, the kind where the air feels crisp and new. But lately, even tying her shoes had become a small battle. She thought pain was simply part of getting older. Then one afternoon, while watching her granddaughter stretch in the garden, she smiled. The child bent forward, touching her toes with ease and laughter. Something about that moment stayed with Ellen. She wondered quietly if her body still remembered that kind of freedom. That evening, she stood in her living room and tried a small bend. Her knees trembled, her back protested, but her heart felt awake. It wasn't much, just a reach toward her shins, but it was a beginning. The next day she tried again, breathing slower, listening to her body's rhythm. Each day she bent a little deeper, a little smoother. Her stiffness began to loosen, like a knot slowly untying itself. Weeks passed, and she noticed the pain was quieter now. Her posture straighter, her breath calmer. The floor didn't seem so far anymore. She even returned to her morning walks, her steps light with quiet pride. "I didn't think something so simple could change so much," she said softly. Her smile held years of relief, gratitude, and rediscovery. Her story is not rare. It's one shared by many who choose to begin again. There was also George, a retired teacher who spent years sitting behind a desk. His back ached from decades of leaning over papers and chalkboards. At 75, he started doing knee-to-toe bends every morning. He said it was like turning on the lights in a dark room. His body began to feel alive, awake, connected. He no longer feared movement, he welcomed it. And then there's Mai, who had stopped gardening because of her back pain. After a few weeks of gentle bends, she found herself back among her flowers. She said bending forward now felt like bowing to the earth that gave her peace. Each of these stories carries a simple truth: healing begins with motion. It's not about age or strength, it's about willingness. The willingness to try, to breathe, to be patient with your own progress. Every person who starts this journey writes a new chapter in their body's story. And each chapter begins the same way, with one slow bend. The movement may seem small, but the impact ripples through every part of life. Less pain, more balance, deeper sleep, a clearer mind, and above all, a renewed sense of connection to oneself. Because when the body begins to move again, the spirit follows. Ellen says she now bends not just for her back, but for her heart. She bends to remind herself that she's still capable, still growing, still alive. And that's what this practice truly gives, not just flexibility, but freedom. When the body bends, the mind follows. There's something deeply human about the act of bowing forward. It's a moment of humility, of listening, of quiet surrender. Each knee-to-toe bend becomes more than just a physical motion. It turns into a gentle dialogue between movement and mindfulness. You begin to notice the way your breath shapes your rhythm. Inhale, your body expands, open and ready. Exhale, your body softens, releasing what it no longer needs. It's as if every breath carries away a little bit of tension, a little bit of fear. The body starts to relax not only in muscle, but in spirit. And slowly, the mind learns to let go too. The thoughts that once raced, about age, about pain, about time, begin to quiet. You find yourself present in the simplest of moments. The stretch, the breath, the gentle rise back to standing. Each movement feels like a meditation, a returning to yourself. There's no rush, no perfection to chase. You realize it's not about touching your toes, but about touching your awareness. The world outside fades for a while. All that remains is you, balanced between effort and ease. This is where healing grows strongest, in the space between motion and stillness. Your knees bend in kindness, your spine follows in trust. Your breath becomes the bridge between the two. And with every repetition, you grow more fluent in this quiet language. Some people pray with words, others with silence. But here, in this movement, the prayer happens through breath and body. Each bend says, "Thank you." Thank you to the body for carrying you. Thank you to the years that have shaped your strength. Thank you to this moment of peace, right here, right now. Even the smallest motions hold sacred energy when done with intention. When you move with awareness, you give your body permission to heal. And in return, it gives you calmness, focus, and a sense of being whole again. Over time, the boundary between physical and emotional balance disappears. The body becomes lighter. The mind becomes gentler. The heart feels less burdened by the weight of worry. And you start to notice how movement transforms everything. Your mornings become brighter. Your thoughts kinder. Your outlook softer and more grateful. You begin to greet each day not with hesitation, but with quiet courage. Because each bend reminds you that you are still capable of change. You are still capable of grace. And age is not a limit, it's a teacher. The more you move, the more you learn that stillness is not the absence of motion. It's the harmony within it. You stand taller, not just in posture but in presence. You breathe deeper, not just for air but for life. The practice becomes a mirror, showing how body and soul can move as one. And when you rise from that final bend, you understand something simple. The journey was never about touching your toes. It was about touching your peace. The day is quiet now. The air feels softer, like it's learned to breathe with you. You stand still, feeling the warmth that movement has left behind. Your back no longer aches the way it once did. Your knees feel steady, your breath calm and full. It's not just your body that has changed, it's your awareness. You've learned that healing doesn't always come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from doing gently, doing slowly, doing with love. The knee-to-toe bend has become more than an exercise. It's a ritual of care, a promise you make to yourself each day. A promise to keep moving, no matter how small the motion. A promise to listen to your body with patience and respect. Because every gentle bend is a whisper of gratitude. Every rise is a celebration of strength. And every breath reminds you that life still moves through you. You are not slowing down, you are simply moving differently. With grace, with balance, with purpose. So tomorrow when you wake, stand tall once again. Breathe deeply. And let one simple bend remind you, your body is still your home.